The quiet of a Bellevue neighborhood is shattered by a train. A health department warning tonight for contaminated shellfish. We'll have details. And a cat that is living his second life and inspiring everyone he meets.
You're watching 11 at 11. 11 minutes of non-stop news and your forecast first on 11 News Tonight.
Good evening. I'm Christine Chen in for Monica Gale. Topping 11 at 11 tonight, 3 people are hurt when a dinner train crashes into a van in a Bellevue neighborhood. 11 News reporter Cindy Glenn is there. Cindy, how did this happen?
Well, Christine, it all started about 7 o'clock tonight. It was supposed to be a pleasant evening for people on the Spirit of Washington dinner train coming down these tracks here toward Woodinville, but it turned into a nightmare for 3 men trying to cross these railroad tracks. Here's what happened. Jim Plogman and his 2 sons were trying to move some furniture out of a relative's house right down this road. They got up to the tracks. They saw the train coming. They tried to back the van off the tracks. That's when the van stalled.
Well, the van was spun off of the tracks and eventually ended up on its side. And that resulted in the driver and both occupants being trapped inside the vehicle, and they were subsequently removed by our fire department.
Okay. Now, the very latest on the injuries, all 3 people in the van, the Plogman family, were injured. The father, Jim Plogman, has 3 broken ribs. One of the sons is being tested for any broken ribs. He is expected to have a few broken ribs too. The other son has been released from the hospital.
Now, Cindy, there have been other accidents with the Spirit of Washington dinner train, right?
Yes, there have, Christine. This is not an isolated incident. There have been 4 accidents with the Spirit of Washington dinner train since the train started about 5 years ago. There was 1 accident less than a month and a half ago in the city of Kirkland, and that also involved a car on the track. So apparently this does happen quite a bit.
Okay, thank you. Cindy Glenn reporting live from Bellevue. And Cindy tells us the dinner train stopped for about 20 minutes and then continued on as scheduled. A huge break tonight in a Bellevue triple murder case. The son of the family killed now faces charges. Police have arrested Atif Rafay and his friend Sebastian Burns in Canada for the murder of Rafay's parents and sisters. The teens claim to have come home and found the bodies of the family in their Bellevue home July 13th of last year. Rafay and Burns now face 3 counts each of aggravated murder in the first degree, and police expect to release more details tomorrow. Divers tonight found the break in the sewage pipe spilling raw waste into Drayton Harbor in Blaine near the Canadian border.
It is so dirty. We're going to get our big lights on it so we can see.
Divers mark the break near the Semiahmoo Spit. Another crew will go down tomorrow and repair it. 200,000 gallons of raw sewage has been flowing out of the Blaine treatment plant since Saturday. Health officials today banned shellfishing, but fishermen like Joseph Vilo hadn't heard about the spill.
Does it concern you then that they might be contaminated?
Yeah, it concerns us. What kind of spill?
Be careful. It was sewage.
Right?
Vilo threw back his crabs. Health officials say in 2 to 3 weeks, the mess will be flushed out of the bay, and it will be safe for fishing and swimming again. Another day, and Kaylee Elbert is still missing. The search for the 1-year-old from British Columbia continues. Divers called off their efforts at dark in the swift currents of the Skykomish River. Tomorrow, they will use boats and search dogs to find little Kaylee. Family members fear the girl wandered away from a family gathering. Her footprints reportedly led right to the water. Now, if you watched tonight's Chicago Hope, you saw a child suffer emotionally when his mother was injured in a shooting. Kids who experience trauma like this should get counseling immediately, according to some child experts. Without it, children can suffer serious problems later.
If a child who is doing well in school all of a sudden is also not doing well in school, a child who had friends doesn't have friends anymore, a child's picking fights with siblings, getting into difficulties in the neighborhood, those are all the red flags.
Counselors say therapy for these kinds of situations is often short-term and relatively inexpensive. Meanwhile, in southern Florida, residents batten down the hatches to prepare for a hurricane. People flock to hardware stores to buy sheets of plywood to cover windows, and grocery stores run out of bottled water and batteries as everyone prepares for the worst. Residents who experienced Hurricane Andrew say they don't want to be caught off guard again.
Inside the house, so got to kind of hang with it and put the plywood up.
Double lines every place.
Emergency management officials have ordered about 600,000 people to leave their homes. Hurricane Erin is expected to hit the coast of Florida sometime tomorrow. Well, I said it earlier, and I'll say it again, Neil. I'm so glad that's not in our region. We don't have those kinds of things here. That's why we live here.
You're right. Tomorrow here, a very, very nice day. A high of 81 degrees. Your forecast first. Looking good. North winds at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. And speaking of hurricanes, we'll talk more about that coming up in a couple of moments ago. The people down in South Florida still remember Hurricane Andrew, and Hurricane Erin now is taking the same path. It's a much weaker hurricane, but folks down there are very, very anxious, needless to say. So we'll talk about their weather and our forecast when I come back in about 5 minutes.
I think people around the country also remember Andrew because of all the devastation. It was such a memorable event.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much, Neil Barton. Now, tonight, a serial arson case may be solved in Seattle. Details in 11 at 11 Zion, the Northwest. Police arrest a suspect in connection with a series of fires at the Echo Lake Apartments in Shoreline. At least 5 fires were set in the last 2 weeks, and King County police say the suspect lives right in the complex. They will not release his name until charges are filed, and that is expected to happen tomorrow. And the search continues tonight for the arsonist who torched this Central District Church Friday night. Damage to the Full Gospel Pentecostal Community Temple is estimated at $750,000. There's now a special fund set up to help the congregation rebuild. You can drop off donations to the U.S. Bank at 1200 Madison Street in Seattle. We'll give you that information again a little later in the newscast. More gridlock may be in your future if Congress goes ahead with planned cuts in transit money for Seattle. An $8 million loss would mean fewer buses and higher fares, which may prompt more commuters to drive their cars to work. But some say they will ride the bus at any cost to avoid crowded freeways.
You're just kind of like in a parking lot for a couple hours, and whereas if you're on the bus, you get to wave to everybody and go bye, and you get there, so it's just easier.
Metro fears it would not be able to buy 30 large buses if the cuts are approved. We should know by October 1st just how deep those cuts will be. And no public hearings for Oregon Senator Bob Packwood. Instead, the Senate Ethics Committee will make public all information it has received in the case.
When the public sees the evidence that's contained in those papers, they will be shocked and they will say, why did the circus go on for 2.5 years?
And this is a last gasp effort on behalf of the Republicans to try and save his Senate seat for him.
Williamson adds if the public saw women tell stories of Packwood's actions, he would not be able to keep his Senate seat. More than 24 women have accused Senator Packwood of sexual misconduct. In Washington, D.C. tonight, the House of Representatives makes a surprise move involving the environment. In a tie vote, the House reserved itself and passed a measure that stops the government from enforcing more than a dozen anti-pollution laws. Environmentalists say the vote shows pressure from polluters prevails over health and safety of America. President Clinton has threatened to veto the measure. Eye on America continues now with the latest from the Waco hearings. Today, FBI agents explain why they called in tanks at the search. Put simply, the Branch Davidians' bullets were bigger than the government's.
These are the differences in what we face there. That's why we brought in armor, not to scare anyone, not to make this look like a military operation or a military campaign, but to prevent additional deaths.
Meantime, House Republicans now say they can prove it was President Clinton who approved the final raid, not Attorney General Janet Reno. Expect to hear more tomorrow when Reno appears as the final witness at the hearings. In Los Angeles, a local news reporter takes the stand in the O.J. Simpson trial. She refuses to say who told her last September that DNA tests found Nicole Brown Simpson's blood on O.J. Simpson's socks.
I gave my word as a journalist that I would not reveal their identities.
Defense attorneys believe the story was leaked by someone in the L.A. Police Department who knew in advance what the test results would be because the blood had been planted. This will not be a Mickey Mouse operation, even though the Walt Disney Company and ABC Capital Cities joined forces today. It's the biggest media merger ever. Disney was the film studio leader last year, and ABC is #1 in primetime network programming.
I think it means that the competition has to get bigger and stronger in order to compete with this new Goliath.
On Wall Street, the deal gave Cap City's shareholders a boost and gave security to Disney stock owners. The merger is expected to be complete by next year. Now, what is over 3,000 feet long and full of beans? The world's largest burrito. That's the answer. Folks in Anaheim are rolling the Mexican dish, trying to beat an entry in the Guinness Book World Records. They'll use over 2 tons of beans, rice, and cheese, but because of health concerns, people will not be allowed to eat the creation. It will go to the chickens and cows instead.
Bummer.
I know you don't want any of that.
That's right.
Go ahead.
What's a baseball team need more than anything? Pitching and defense, and that's what the Mariners did tonight. Huge trade. They sent outfielder Mark Newfield and pitcher Ron Vallone to San Diego for Andy Bennis. This guy's good. Despite his 4-7 record, Bennis is a perennial hard-luck pitcher who gets very little support from those Padres. In other moves, the Rockies pick up Brett Saberhagen. The Reds get David Wells from Detroit. Unbelievable trades today. The Red Sox get Mike Stanton from Atlanta. Coming up later in sports, tennis, great square off. Which Mariner is the player of the week? And this is unbelievable. Bleachers collapsing at a soccer game in Denmark. This is the kind of trade that the Mariners often made to get rid of high-priced players. Tonight, they bring one in.
And it's almost like they planned it, all those trades, all in the same day.
Well, the deadline is today.
Oh, well.
There you go.
There you go.
That's
I
it.
should have known that, but I didn't. Thank you for teaching me that.
There you
Okay,
go.
thanks, Rod. That's it for 11 at 11 on this Monday, but there is more straight ahead. And at 11:13, the new drug of choice. We'll take an inside look at the addiction of methamphetamines in tonight's 11 News Extra. And get ready to grab 4 Kleenex. Meet Duchess, an inspiration to us all in tonight's Shauna Before Dave. But first, something many of us only dream of doing, a little Barney bashing. Next.
Live from Northwest 11, you're watching 11 News Tonight.
What is wireless, and what does AT&T have to do with it? For Mike Fazand, it's a messaging device that tells him that his 9-year-old just got the lead in the school play. For Rob Shaw, it's a flight that's 2 hours late and 3 meetings that need rescheduling. For the Underhills, it's the cellular phone their daughter bought them for their vacation, so they'd always be in touch. Introducing AT&T Wireless Services, technology that sets you free. Call 1-800-IMAGINE.
Ain't no little rainstorm gonna stop me from getting a Black Angus. This month, you and a friend can save $10. You get 2 half-pound prime rib dinners. Share their wagon wheel appetizer sampler. Then split a big old mountain chocolate fudge cake. The whole shooting match for 2, just 26 smackers. That's $10 off the regular price. And if you got a Visa card, bring it.
With your period, it's always something. If it's not major cramps, it's headaches, backaches, big-time bloating, or that occasional irritability factor. Good thing Pamprin has 3 ingredients to relieve them all. Try Pamprin, way beyond pain relief, period relief.
We combine the clean feeling of Physoderm with luxurious skincare ingredients to create gentle formula Physoderm. As Physoderm clean as always and pH balanced for soft, healthy skin. Gentle formula Physoderm. Physoderm clean and oh so gentle.
You could play in the rain. You could frolic in the snow. And when the sun shines, you could peel off the rest of your inhibitions. The Saab 900 convertible. Find your own road. Saab.
Making news tonight, Barney bashing in Portland. Mascot night at a soccer game turns ugly when the other mascots pull off Barney's head and start using it as a ball. One mascot makes it all the way to the net and secures a goal. Now, seeing this house might make you think of a certain nursery rhyme. The Pennsylvania Shoe House was built in the 40s by a shoe store owner. It has 5 different levels and measures 17 feet across. Its proud new owner wants to turn it into an antique store with an old woman in the shoe theme. Now, for authorities fighting the war on drugs, there appears to be a new threat on the horizon. It's called methamphetamines. Reporter Paul Hawley takes a closer look in tonight's 11 News Extra.
Forget that meth is death.
Dr. James Smith is the head of the Schick Shadle Hospital, an addiction treatment center. He's seen the effect methamphetamines can have on its users.
People tend to think that there's a lot of difference between cocaine and methamphetamine or any of the other amphetamines. And really, the effect is essentially the same, except the various amphetamines, methamphetamine, for example, last longer.
On the streets, it's called crank, speed, or ice, among other names. And in recent years, meth labs have been popping up all over the country. In recent weeks, we've seen several of them surface right here in Western Washington. In addition to the drug itself having a potency and long-lasting effect, another danger from these makeshift meth labs is the caustic chemicals used to make the drug.
It's relatively small, but we think it's a growing problem.
Lieutenant Jerry Adams of the Seattle Police Narcotics Division says right now, methamphetamines account for less than 10% of their drug arrests, but those numbers are sure to grow here. How much of a problem does this represent for the city of Seattle?
Well, I think although the arrests and the interdiction is relatively small, it's a growing problem, and it's a growing problem because of the illegal production and the consumption aspect, both of those.
Methamphetamines have long been a part of the drug culture, but authorities say its availability, low cost, and potency will soon make crank the new drug of choice. In Seattle, Paul Holly, 11 News Tonight.
Drug enforcement authorities say most methamphetamines are produced by Mexican labs and shipped to our area and other locations nationwide. Now, still ahead, looks like we're in for a great week of sunshine. Neil's here to fill us in.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. But just to the southeast of Miami, Florida tonight, just about 340 miles just to the southeast of that city, we have Hurricane Aaron that's moving to the west at 10 miles per hour. And the folks down across southern Florida are really taking this seriously because this is the same track that Andrew had. It's a much weaker storm, but still they're taking this threat seriously. But our weather is not so serious. It's very, very nice and sunny and dry and uneventful. More about that when I come back in a moment.
Round up the family and head on out to the Ellensburg Rodeo this Labor Day weekend. World champion cowboys and cowgirls will be competing for top prizes in one of the best rodeos in the US of A. Them broncs and bulls are jumpier than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Go see them nice folks at Western Roundup. While you're there, enter to win yourself a couple tickets to the Ellensburg Rodeo. Then stop by the Northwest 11 booth. You just might win yourself a trip to Opryland. See y'all at the Ellensburg Rodeo this Labor Day weekend. Guess this means I gotta schedule myself a bath.
You gotta call your uncle about tickets for the Dead concert, so you find a US West payphone, because for $1 you can call anyone in Western Washington and talk as long as you like. Good thing. See, Unc starts flashing back to the 60s, reliving his 15-minute drum solos with a band called the Moon Children. But you let him yammer, because he is popping for the tickets. And the bottom line's only $1. Flat rate long distance in Western Washington. The best deal, only on US West payphones.
US West. It's so nice of you to welcome me to the neighborhood.
The man on the left paid $119 for designer glasses. The man on the right paid $59 for the same glasses at Vista Optical.
Have you met my boys?
Oh, you have children?
They really like you.
Same world, you'll just have more money. Vista Optical.
We're out of here. No, please keep your hands in the cart. We'll come back to that later. That one needs batteries. You're gonna get Daddy in trouble. Excuse me? No, that one definitely has too many parts. We gotta go.
Your summer fun's about to shift into high gear. Because right now you can get low 4.9% APR financing or $750 cash back on a new Ford F-Series with a 4.9-liter 5-speed powertrain and available air conditioning, chrome wheels, and more. Get low 4.9% financing or $750 cash back on a new F-Series 4x4 or 4x2. Test drive the Northwest's #1 truck today at your local Northwest Ford dealer.
This portion of the news brought to you by Isuzu, makers of incredible four-wheel drives.
Now, meteorologist Neil Barton with tomorrow's forecast.
The folks in South Florida this time are getting on out of town. Key Largo tonight was told to evacuate, and that they are doing because they still remember what happened when some stayed around for Hurricane Andrew. But for us, no reason to leave home. In fact, tomorrow will be a fairly good day to just stay home and not go to well, I'm not trying to instigate anything, but it'd be a good day tomorrow to play hooky. By 5 o'clock, a high of 82 degrees, and tomorrow night, a very lovely evening indeed, about 64 degrees tomorrow night at 11. That's your forecast first. Now we'll take a look at our current conditions. Skies are partly cloudy. We're at 70. Humidity 55%. The pressure is steady. Winds northeast at 12 miles per hour. And today we didn't see any rain, and we won't see any rain for the next 4 or 5 days. High today 82, low of 56. Tomorrow's going to be just like that. Our normals are 77 and 56, and records 93 and 47 degrees. So let's get to the satellite picture. First of all, we'll take a look at what's going on just 340 miles southeast of Miami. We now have Hurricane Aaron, only a minimal hurricane with winds up to 75 miles per hour, but it's bearing down on South Florida. Should make landfall if it continues this westerly trek at 10 miles per hour sometime tomorrow evening between 3 and 7 p.m., and it could bring as much as 8 to 10 inches of rain across that part of the country. And still across Texas tonight, man, you talk about having some problems. They just had little bitty old 45 mile per hour tropical storm Dean, but just south of Dallas, they've had 5.5 inches of rainfall. They'll see at least 4 or 5 inches of rain tonight and tomorrow, and still some pretty big thunderstorms across the plain states because of this cold front that's going to press into most of the deep south tomorrow. By tomorrow afternoon, again, Hurricane Aaron could be making landfall around southern Florida, and we're going to have a little cool front here, just barely brush us. More about that in a moment. Here at home, this is an update. We just dropped down to 68 degrees, 75 degrees at Wenatchee, and 69 degrees at Walla Walla. Here's the situation here. This is a very, very nice weather pattern. The upper high continues to sit right on top of us. That means very dry and stable weather, and winds northeast at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And we'll see a few high clouds, but most of the clouds will stay to our north. We have one little upper low in the Gulf of Alaska spitting out some storms. You may be seeing some upper instability, maybe a few clouds late week, but still, it's not going to be rain-producing cloud cover, just those pretty high, wispy clouds. So for tonight, a low anywhere from around 55 to 58 degrees here. East of the mountains, pretty much the same thing. Walla Walla, just a bit warmer. And for tomorrow, east of the mountains, some folks seeing some low 90s, but here, low 80s the rules. North winds at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And for you boaters tomorrow, on the Sound, winds northwest at 5 to 15. On the coast, northwest at 10 to 20 knots. Here's our outdoor planner. Stuff looks good. Nothing like what they're seeing across southern Florida. Sunshine tomorrow, high of 82 degrees. Wednesday, even warmer. How about that? Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, probably middle 80s for the most part. Nighttime lows near 60s, and still no rain here. But way down in Florida, they're going to be having problems tomorrow if that hurricane keeps on moving to the west at about 10 miles per hour. More on that tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much, Neil. You know what I wanted to ask you, though?
Go ahead.
Is that, did you plan on blowing my cover when you said that it would be a good day to play hooky tomorrow?
No, I did not. But shame on you. Oh, you're off tomorrow. Well, it's not like you're playing hooky.
Well, maybe.
I think I'll just be quiet and sit over here and see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Neil.
Okay.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, if you're a new parent, listen up. The way to put your infant to bed could mean life or death. New information on sudden infant death syndrome in tonight's Eye on Your Health. Experts at the University of Washington say, according to the latest studies, infants put to sleep on their stomach are almost 4 times as likely to die from SIDS as babies that sleep on their backs.
The baby could have crib death if you laid them on the stomach. So it was best to lay them on their side or their back.
Every new mother that leaves the hospital gets information on sudden death, infant death syndrome. Now when we come back, Rod is in with sports and a big trade for the Mariners. 2 players for a pitcher, and also a Tuesday night preview of the Mariners and Angels. Sports is next, but first, tonight's winning lottery numbers, 3, 1, and 8, and we wish you luck.
On the next Extra, she's the sexiest pinup girl in America.
She's a beauty.
What's her secret to creating those steamy shots?
Well, this might be too skimpy.
Extra takes you behind the scenes in Hawaii for the revealing answer.
Wow.
Then Friends' Jennifer Aniston has something that women are paying big bucks to get.
I love it. I love it.
Find out how her new do started the latest hair trend that's now sweeping the nation. Only on Extra.
Tomorrow at 7:30 on Northwest 11.
We combine the clean feeling of Physoderm with luxurious skincare ingredients to create gentle formula Physoderm. As Physoderm clean as always and pH balanced for soft, healthy skin. Gentle formula Physoderm. Physoderm clean and oh so gentle.
If you're living with pain, you want fast relief. You want Flexol 454. Warm, soothing relief that gets you moving again, working again, enjoying life again. Living with pain? Think fast. Think Flexall. If pro trainers recommend it, you know it's the best.
My fellow Americans, I'm coming to you today on behalf of SeaTac Pontiac GMC. As you know, as I was saying, those new Pontiacs and GMC trucks are consistently... Newt, that you in there? At SeaTac, low overhead can knock those big city dealers' prices in the creek. SeaTac can sell for less. Newt, let me in. You ain't the president. Yeah, but I'm fourth in line. Third if you don't count Hillary.
I heard that, Newt.
Uh-oh.
How much do you pay for a minute of long distance overseas?
I'd say about $1.65 a minute to Australia.
$2 a minute?
I don't like to look at the phone bill because it's usually so much.
Introducing Sprint Sense International. Simply great rates to anywhere in the U.S. and now to anywhere in the world. 65 cents a minute to Korea?
65 cents for Australia?
No gimmicks, no nothing.
That's a great deal.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Call now for Sprint Sense International and get up to 100 minutes free.
They feed on blood, and just 2 can become 2,000. But fleas can't survive the exterminator, the Orkin Man. The exterminator wipes out fleas with the awesome power of his advanced pest control technology. His invisible weapons attack fleas and the eggs they leave behind and stops them dead, guaranteed. Call the exterminator at 1-800-800-ORKIN. One call destroys them all.
Now, Rod Simons with what's happening tonight in sports.
You can bet that the ground is going to shake and your ears are going to ring for days. The NHRA is back, and Thunder Rock and Rigs will be jamming for the next few days out at Seattle International Raceway starting actually Thursday. Brett Saberhagen in this pitching fire sale goes from the Mets to the Rockies. LA gets Mark Guthrie and Kevin Tampany from the Twins. David Wells traded from Detroit to the Reds. I was the first one to tell you Saturday right here that the Mariners would trade 2 top young players, Ron Vallone and Mark Newfield, and they did tonight. Seattle steals Andy Benes from San Diego, with the Padres offering up a good deal for Vallone and Newfield. Benes joins Seattle tomorrow just up I-5 in Anaheim and will pitch Thursday. Huge trade. This is the week that might define the rest of the season for the Mariners. Mike Blowers is the American League Player of the Week. The team, off its impressive performance against Cleveland over the weekend, they head to California, as I said. In case you haven't been paying attention this season, you're not alone. The Angels are red hot. They've won 15 of 18 since the All-Star break. The Mariners know this 3-game set is important.
There's still 60 games or so to be played, and somebody's going to have to win that. It's just not going to be a 500 situation between now and October 1st or 2nd, whenever the season's over. So somebody's going to have to make some ground up on 500 on the plus side.
Okay, watch this. Nice catch by the kid in the stands. Give him a job, for Pete's sake. It was Jeff Mano with the drive. Look at Candy Maldonado at the wall. Very tough to do. Lance Parrish is the guy that stole the show. 2 RBI for Toronto. This one, down the line, Toronto wins in a romp, 6-3. Finals now, Chicago beats Kansas City. National League side, Colorado's a winner. Colorado's going to win the West. You can bet on it. San Diego and New York. And postponed due to Aaron.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get the weather in there, too. On the farm, Everett and Tacoma are winners. We're 2 weeks away from getting a visit from one of the best pro golfers in the globe. A bunch of them, led by Fred Couples. Rough day for Corey Pavin at the World Championship. I can do that. Chip, go over the green and into the drink, for Pete's sake. Oh, tough day indeed. All right, column has-beens? No. This is great play. Bjorn Borg, Jimmy Connors, they can still get up and down the line. This is called the Champions Tour. It's $40,000 for the win. Jimmy Connors wins 0-6, 6-4, 6-4. Love 6. More trouble at a European soccer match. You're not going to believe this. It's not a fan fight. Overcrowded bleachers. They couldn't hold a mass of people. A little bit of an explosion. That's blood on this guy's face. There were people falling out of the stands. The weight of the crowd caused the gate to collapse, sending fans to the ground. 30 people injured, but thankfully, no fatalities.
Bjorn Borg and Jimmy Connors brings back some good memories.
Absolutely.
Definitely. What an incredible rivalry. I can't remember who used to win more of those matches. I can't
Borg, Connors early. Borg was very, very dominant. Took care of Jimmy, John McEnroe as well.
Okay, and with the Mariners now, make or break time.
Great trade.
Make or break time, too, in the season, right?
And they will do well with Mr. Venice.
Okay, thanks very much, Rod Simons.
Thank
Okay, we move on now, and next we're going to introduce you to someone named Duchess. She has big blue eyes, a little black spot on her nose, and a story that will touch your heart. Find out why this cat is so special next on Shauna Before Dave.
They feed on blood, and just 2 can become 2,000. But fleas can't survive the exterminator, the Orkin Man. The exterminator wipes out fleas with the awesome power of his advanced pest control technology. His invisible weapons attack fleas and the eggs they leave behind and stops them dead. Guaranteed. Call the exterminator at 1-800-800-ORKIN. One call destroys them all.
Hi, John Keister here with racing legend Chip Hanauer to tell you why this seafair no one should be without a Motorola cellular phone.
Hey, Keister, you want to see my speedboat?
Yeah, in a second, Chip. You see, right now, Motorola's great line of digital messaging megaphones are on sale at the Bon Marché for their lowest price ever.
Hey, Keister, you want to...
In a second, Chip, okay? And also, if you sign up with US West Cellular before August 7th, the Bon Marché is going to waive the $40 activation fee.
Hey, Keister.
All right, let's see the speedboat,
Right.
Chip. Let's see the You know, some guys never grow up.
We took the clean, fresh feeling of Physoderm, combined it with luxurious skincare ingredients, and made it as gentle as a mountain breeze. Introducing new Gentle Formula Physoderm, with a new fragrance as fresh as all outdoors. Pure, as Physoderm clean as always, and specially pH balanced for soft, healthy skin. New Gentle Formula Physoderm. Physoderm clean, and oh, so gentle.
Flesh Swap. Summer batteries for whatever you drive.
When they were small, we had a little sports car.
And then they got bigger, so we had to get a four-door.
So we leased a new Volkswagen Jetta, $199 a month. Nice, huh? The German-engineered front-wheel drive Jetta comes with rack and pinion steering, daytime running lights, dual airbags. It's a great driving car.
It's got a big back seat.
And a huge trunk.
Weimaraners come from Germany.
Maybe that's why they like driving so much.
On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
This portion of the news brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Drivers wanted.
Tonight's reminder, the information on a fund to help rebuild the full Gospel Pentecostal Community Temple, destroyed by fire on Friday. You can bring your donations to the U.S. Bank at 1200 Madison Street in Seattle. And tonight's reminder for Neil Barton proclaimed Hooky Day tomorrow
I think so. Officially, it's Hooky Day tomorrow. High of 82 degrees, sunshine here, looks good. And of course, the latest with Hurricane Aaron tomorrow morning with Nick Walker at 6 o'clock on the early morning news. Join him then for more about that.
Okay, thanks, Neil.
All right.
Now, let's be honest. We've all felt a little blue at one time or another, like the world is against you. Well, Shauna McLaughlin is here tonight with a remedy, a four-legged remedy to be exact. Right, Shauna?
That's right. See this? This is a hanky. This is for you.
Okay.
I'll take one for myself as well, because we may need one after we meet. I got a lot here. Duchess, don't you hate it when that happens? Take one look at this amazing cat, and you'll see that inspiration comes in all kinds of packages, even furry white ones. These blue eyes have seen a lot of pain. Duchess was a very sick orphan when someone dropped her off at an animal shelter.
She was really, couldn't move or couldn't swallow, and the dad had wanted to put her to sleep, and we said no.
A respiratory infection was destroying her body, and it left permanent damage.
It's kind of like cerebral palsy. It's brain damage in the lower neck, and she's not paralyzed, she's just weak. But she has quite a spirit. She just never gives up.
Her legs are too weak to support her weight. But all things are possible.
Now help me go in. Help me go in.
With her walker and her determination, she's a cat who's raring to go.
Wait a minute, don't take off. Wait.
Now Duchess visits a challenge center for people overcoming strokes and other major injuries.
She showed up one day with this little kitty cat that was in, I guess, what is the equivalent of a kitty cat wheelchair.
They come here to get stronger physically, and thanks to Duchess, their spirits get a workout too.
We all have problems, and that cat's just one of us.
Duchess is now a legend at the center. They call her Handy Cat for proving that if a little cat can keep going, so can they.
Come on, baby.
Duchess has a favorite. Her name is Hillary. She was nearly killed in a car wreck. Human therapists are restoring her body, and Duchess is helping restore her soul.
Sometimes, you tend to get a little hard and down on yourself, and when you do, then you got to stop and look around and see things could be so much worse. She gives me that total lift that I need, that total lift. She's just special. Just special.
Oh, Duchess now resides in San Diego. The only problem is, word has it she's not much of a mouser. But you
can't have everything.
That's understandable at this point.
I usually don't get choked up about kitty cats, but I do, and I'm a dog person, but this one, okay.
Is she
Good night.
cute?
We'll see you later.
Night.